Alice is back in another Resident Evil film, and this time, instead of trying to kill the zombies, she's actually trying to save them. But in the meantime, would she save me from this boring movie? My review of Resident Evil The Last Chapter next. Resident Evil The Last Chapter, or The Final Chapter. This stars Mia Jovovich as Alice once again. This is the 6th film in the series. So, what exactly do I think about this film? Well, if you heard the beginning of this here, you kind of already have an idea. So the film, what this film is all about, is Alice trying to figure out her past, as she always has been, and also she has to travel something like 420 miles from where she is back to Raccoon City to where it all began in the Hive. So the film actually starts off with this doctor and this daughter, and the daughter's real sick. And really, I don't think this is really a spoiler, because this is pretty much how the film starts off, that this young lady actually turns out to be the Red Queen, so they kind of explain how she becomes the Red Queen. So then when we first actually see Alice, which is not too long after that scene into that she's actually trying to escape. She kills 1 or 2 monsters. Then she actually has to kill one of the CGI flying monsters that, I swear to God, the face, much long and stretchier, but almost look like the Predator's face. So the thing is, she ends up finally, being chased down by this monster, then finally is able to kill it. And then all of a sudden, she's in this, basement or whatever, abandoned building or something. Gets a call from the Queen, the Red Queen, and says, we need you here back at the Hive in 2 days, 48 hours. So she's like, I'm going to reset your watch here, and boom, it's showing that. Well, at that time, it reminded me so much of Escape from New York and Escape from LA with Kurt Russell, the whole, thing there where it's like, if you get back here, we'll get you the virus and blah, 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 the antivirus, and we'll save your life kind of thing like that. Let me talk about what I liked and did not like about this. So what I liked about it was the character Alice. I was very happy for her character. I was very thrilled with it. I still think after, 6 of these, she's still very convincing. She does a great job. She may be a model, but this was probably a perfect movie for her. This might be the only thing people might really know her from, other than being a model. I thought that she was really good, very convincing. Then the other thing is, I got to give a little credit to her and the writers, where one thing in action movies and horror movies, and just any kind of thing, is you always want to put your hero in as much danger as you can. And I thought the writers did a good job with that. One of my favorite scenes is with the fan. I thought that was really clever. People might say cliche, but I think it was very clever in its own way there. And then there's other ones too that were somewhat as good as that, or just as bad as that. No in between there. That's it for the likes. That is it for the likes. What I did not like about it, let's start off with the fight scenes. Okay, you're thinking, oh, great action. Most of these Resident Evils, they're guilty pleasure movies, and they always have a lot of great action in them. Not this one. Not when you're doing your quick cuts, okay? The whole thing where it just boom, 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 boom. And it's like, there's really no excuse for doing that. It really isn't. That's actually sloppy editing and directing. Never happened with the old days. I know they were cheaper to make back then too, but when you just have one camera film a scene going around, and that was it. Just the big fight scene, you had your angle, and you left it at that. You didn't have to do 25 different angles. Let's get to the actors now. I gotta be honest, I thought they all just kind of phoned in their roles. Claire's back in this. She's not even in it that much, played by Ollie Lauder, who I really have to be honest, I always liked her ever since the first Final Destination back in 2000. So we're talking 17 years ago, I've actually liked this actress. She might always play the bitch like Michelle Rodriguez in the first Resident Evil, but I think that she does it a lot better than Michelle Rodriguez. The lighting. Oh my God, did they even hire a light guy or light woman or anything like that? I don't think they did, because they just left it so dark when it would be dark outside, and maybe they would use flashlights or torches or something like that. And it's the only way you barely saw their face. And even in the daytime, it wasn't always the greatest shots either. Camera work was very sloppy, I gotta say. Talking about editing and all that too was insane. Special effects monsters, as always, they're really not the greatest. I feel bad for them. And just like I mentioned about, 2, 3 weeks ago, I saw Underworld, and I wasn't thrilled with that because it's like they lost what was so good about the original Underworld, what was so good about the original Resident Evil. And they just lost all that, coming out with all these sequels that were ridiculous. Dr. Isaac is back in this. He was in the second one. He was also in the third one. Really didn't know much about him in this one. You get a little bit more of a background story with him there. And I have to be honest, I actually did enjoy that. But I did like that him and Alice get into a couple fist fights, and actually he's kicking butt with her too, and I really liked that, really enjoyed that. Honestly, it was just a horrible film. But this is definitely a non-recommend. This is a movie that you're really going to forget after a day or two. Really stupid, really ridiculous. I was expecting this to be good, and I don't know if there's going to be any more of this. Maybe with Alice's story, maybe this could be it, and maybe they could do a spin-off with like Claire Redfield or anything, which maybe you could see her as the main character in her own Resident Evil. I don't know, but we'll see if this ends up being it, or if there's going to be any more of these. I just actually really hope that people stay away from this film, and this does not do that well. I really hope not. But if you have seen this film, what did you think about it? Give me a comment down below. If you haven't, hopefully you will stay away from there. And thank you guys so much for watching another review. This is Resident Evil, the final chapter, and as always, stay awesome.